watching NBC4, the Tri-State News Channel. And now, Sue Simmons, Dean Shepard, Al Roker, and Len Berman. This is News Channel 4, live at 5.
It's a mistrial for Alex Kelly, the former high school wrestler charged with rape. Good evening. The jury fails to reach a verdict.
The judge declared the mistrial when jurors said they were hopelessly deadlocked. Kelly fled the country after he was accused of rape 10 years ago. Tonight, prosecutors say they're ready to retry him. Right now, News Channel 4's Michael Hill is in Stamford with more for us. Michael?
So the jury of 3 men and 3 women deliberated for 5 days and again today said they could not reach the required unanimous decision on either charge against Alex Kelly, the former globetrotting fugitive. Kelly never took the stand here in Stamford in his own defense, but the alleged victim gave an emotional account of a vicious attack in 1986. The defense appeared to pick what of small holes in her testimony that seemed to blossom and then blossomed into reasonable doubt for at least 2 jurors.
This was a case in which the prosecution was unable to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. None of us were there. They took their best shot and they lost.
And I think it is a great insult, not only to this victim, but to all victims of sexual assault, to say that this was an enjoyable experience. I know firsthand what she has suffered, not only during this past trial, but during the past 10 years.
It's our view that it's a shameful outcome. The defense in this case pandered to every stereotype in rape cases that we've heard about over the years.
What was the vote, ma'am? Can you tell us what was the hang-up back there? Sheriff's deputies shielded jurors who failed to convict or acquit Alex Kelly of kidnapping and raping a 16-year-old neighbor 10 years ago. On the eve of his 1987 trial for 2 rape charges, Kelly ran to Europe for 8 years and finally came home to face the now 26-year-old married woman. The jury was split 4 to convict and 2 to acquit. Before the trial started, the defense denied plea bargain talks were underway. But now the woman's attorney says the defense offered the woman money to make the charges go away.
I told him it was improper. I told him that my client was not doing this for money. I told him that his client was accused of rape and should face the charges in a criminal courthouse, and that the Kelly family was not going to buy off the prosecution.
Now, the state said it was ready for trial as early as January. That's something that's going to be worked out. The state also said our victim is ready to take the stand. Again, the woman seemed to leave the court after the verdict. She didn't have a tear in her eyes. She didn't seem emotional, just seemed to walk out with her husband. And as the state said, it seems she is certainly ready to testify again against Alex Kelly. Reporting live from Stamford, Michael Hill, News Channel 4.
All right, Michael, thank you.
Another trial, and this time the verdict is guilty in the Michigan murder trial of a man who admitted he killed a gay acquaintance over a TV talk show revelation.
Verdict as to the charge of first-degree premeditated murder is guilty of the lesser offense of second-degree murder.
The defendant, Jonathan Schmitz, showed no emotion as the verdict was read this morning. He admitted to killing Scott Amador after the victim appeared on the Jenny Jones talk show and revealed himself as a secret admirer of Schmitz. Schmitz had said the incident left him humiliated. He faces a maximum of life in prison.
Disaster strikes in India, this one man-made. 2 airliners collided in the skies west of New Delhi. 351 people are dead, making it the 3rd worst air crash ever. More now from News Channel 4's Steve Handelsman.
Wreckage from the mid-air collision was scattered over fields in a rural area of India. More than 270 bodies have been found so far. The Saudi Boeing 747-100 jumbo jetliner that looked like this newer model carried 312 passengers and crew and dwarfed the smaller Kazakh jet that carried just 39. That smaller plane was inbound from Kazakhstan. The 747 was taking off for Saudi Arabia when they collided southwest of New Delhi, near a U.S. Air Force transport whose pilot called in a report.
We saw 2 fireballs come from down beneath and towards us, and diverging away from each other and descending down to the ground.
Back at the airport, people were stunned. So many passengers killed. Only the runway collision of 2 747s in the Canary Islands in 1977 and the crash of a crowded 747 in 1985 in Japan took more lives. From India, one journalist told me his air traffic control system is safe.
ATC handles about 1,000 aircraft movements each day.
They claim that they have the equipment and the manpower to handle that many planes.
Exactly.
But Indian officials said controllers ordered the Saudi and Kazakh jetliners to pass just 1,000 feet apart, 3 miles high in the dark. And a U.S. aviation expert says that's risky.
That 1,000-foot separation should have been enough, but if someone broke through an altitude, then you've got a collision on your hands.
No question the planes collided, but was it the fault of pilots, controllers, or equipment? U.S. experts from the Government Safety Board and from Boeing might go to Bombay to help with this investigation. I'm Steve Handelsman, News Channel 4, Washington.
Because the wreckage fell on farm fields after dark, no one on the ground is believed to have been killed.
A Brooklyn neighborhood is horrified by a gruesome crime this evening, a deadly stabbing. A man returned to his Bushwick home this afternoon and found the body of his mother, Carmen Almonte. She had been stabbed to death. The man's 5-year-old son, Ivan, was also stabbed. He was rushed to a hospital. Police are trying to figure out a motive. They don't know if it was a push-in robbery. Police are investigating a possible hit-run death at 14th Street and Union Square East. Shortly before noon, the body of a woman in her 60s was found in the middle of the intersection. Investigators haven't identified the victim. They say she may have been run over by a car or truck, but the investigation is continuing.
Police say a man was murdered right on his doorstep in Queens. They're looking for the gunman tonight, a man dressed as a postal worker who fled in a red, white, and blue truck. Right now, News Channel 4's Elise Hart is in Woodhaven with the latest. Elise?
Yes, he was dressed as a postal worker and carried a gun, and police say he used the gun inside that home to kill Edwin Sanchez Jr. This is a picture of Edwin Sanchez Jr. and his 4-year-old daughter, Amanda. Police say this 26-year-old father of 2 was shot and killed here at his Woodhaven home by someone dressed in a postal uniform. But officials do not know yet whether the suspect was in fact a postal employee.
He was dressed as a postal worker, and that's about all we do know at this point.
We were told he drove away in a red, white, and blue truck.
We've heard that as well, but that too is under investigation as to whether that truck was a postal truck.
Brown says the suspect told Sanchez he needed to sign a slip for a priority mail package. Sanchez allegedly became suspicious and threatened to call police. At that point, witnesses say the suspect pulled out a gun and shot Sanchez in this doorway. Outside the home, friends tried to comfort grieving relatives.
He don't harm nobody. He don't bother nobody. He's real nice to everybody. He helps everybody out.
Police say at the time of the shooting, Sanchez's 2 daughters were inside the house, along with the children's mother, who may have been a witness.
There were 2 youngsters in the house, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, together with their mother. Fortunately, they're all right. They were not in any respect injured.
Me and my mother moved over here because we said it was going to be a better neighborhood. We used to live in Jamaica, Queens. You came over here, it's worse.
Police are still searching for a suspect, motive, and weapon. Now, we did contact the post office, and they said that the police have been in touch with them, but they also point out it is very easy to obtain a postal uniform. We are live in Woodhaven, Queens. I'm Elise Hart. Now back to you in the studio, Sue.
Elise, thank you. It is time now for our first look at breaking news and the evening commute live from Chopper 4. The old traffic patterns are back on the Queensboro Bridge. Let's go up to Tom Frick and see what's happening. Tom, how does it look?
That's correct, Sue. You're taking a look at the 59th Street Bridge right now. We're on the Manhattan side. Just want to take you on in, down onto the roadway, and take a look. Traffic is actually flowing much better this evening. That on the right-hand side of your screen, that is Queens-bound traffic. Left-hand side, where you don't see anyone right now, that is Manhattan-bound traffic. Traffic is moving incredibly well. Just pan down a little bit further so you can see underneath the roadway there. You can see the lower level of the span in between the Y-shaped formation there of the upper level. You can see cars are a little bit slow coming in, all those lights coming directly at us, but they're just off to the right-hand side of your screen. Those are the cars heading Queens-bound. As you can see, they are moving incredibly well, so the old pattern seems to be working. Let's toss it on down to Andrew Glassman, who's down at 62nd Street and 2nd Avenue.
Well, good evening, Tom. Yeah, there's still some confusion about which way the traffic is supposed to move, and still some heavy traffic down here on 2nd Avenue on the Upper East Side. As you can see, it's slow going from block to block, and drivers are telling us that the traffic is heavy on 2nd from the 90s all the way down to the 60s. And part of the problem is that not everyone is clear on which way the traffic is moving today. I talked to some drivers who were still under the impression that the new or old, whichever way you want to look at it, traffic system was still in effect. They didn't know it switched today. There are traffic officers on virtually every corner directing the traffic off of the side streets like East 62nd, and I just peered up there, and it looks like they're doing a very good job of easing the crosstown traffic. That is welcome news to all the residents who complained about that constant honking over the past 4 weeks. There's one more possible snafu to this evening's commute, and that is at 6 o'clock there's a protest around the bridge. One of the lanes of for bikers and walkers was converted into a lane of traffic to give the bridge access to 1,000 more cars per hour. At 6 o'clock tonight, we're told that some of the cyclists are going to hold a protest at the base of the bridge. It could be one more complication in this already complicated situation. Andrew Glassman, News Channel 4, reporting live tonight from 62nd and 2nd.
All right, Andrew, thank you.
Well, Forrest Gump is on something. Coming up on Live at 5, the health benefits of shrimp.
But first, what did a group of Brooklyn neighbors plan to do with a large supply of weapons and bomb-making material?
It's not over yet in Cleveland. Another night of snowfall pushes shovelers to the limit.
Shop Before knows no limits when it comes to breaking news and traffic snarls. We'll have more from them. And Al has a chilly forecast.
That's right. I like chilled shrimp. I like a nice, good, cold shrimp cocktail. Would you like a nice Doppler 4000 cocktail? We'll have one for you. We'll also show you Next Rad 42. It's really good, too. I like that, too. Yes, sir. I like it fried, barbecued. It's a real good thing.
This just into Live at 5. A problem underground. Subway service is being disrupted at this hour by a trash fire downtown. The trains affected are on the A line, as in Apple, and the C line, as in Charlie. That fire in the area of Broadway and Nassau. There are no reports of any injuries. The Transit Authority is hoping to have service back to normal within a half an hour.
An investigation into complaints of child abuse led police to an incredible stash of weapons in Brooklyn. They found much of the arsenal hidden in a secret compartment. Is there a link to terror? News Channel 4's Rick Leventhal has the story.
These are some of the more than 4 dozen weapons discovered inside a Crown Heights brownstone, many of them hidden behind a false wall in a second-story apartment closet. Police say this musical instrument case actually holds a Thompson semi-automatic submachine gun.
There's military-type assault rifles, there's handguns that are revolvers, semi-automatics, as they say, thousands of rounds of ammunition.
Police were called to 1107 Carroll Street Monday night by social workers who'd gone there to investigate a child abuse complaint. The people inside wouldn't open the door until NYPD's Emergency Services Unit arrived. Along with the weapons, police found black powder, suspected to be explosive, and arrested all 32 adults there. 3 kids were discovered next door and taken to a hospital. Their mother, one of those arrested, was also charged with neglect and assault. One of the officers who went in told me off camera that he was surprised at the firepower they found. In his words, if the people in there had set up, this would have been bad. He says the police were outgunned and that this had the potential to be another Waco. Neighbors say the group lived in several apartments in the 3 adjoining row houses linked by underground tunnels and mazes.
Are you surprised they found so many weapons in that? Why not?
Because I knew they doing something at 3 o'clock at night time to work in the basement and bang, 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 bang. At 3 o'clock in the morning, you must be doing something.
What they plan to do with the weapons and ammo is unclear, but it may be no coincidence that federal agents stormed the same building 12 years ago, seizing another small arsenal of weapons, arresting some of the residents believed to be part of an underground terrorist group. Now police are seeing if this might be history repeating itself. In Crown Heights, Rick Leventhal, News Channel 4.
On News Channel 4 at 6, John Miller will take us back to 1984 to see if there are any connections between the 2 investigations.
It was back to court today for O.J. Simpson, but a different courtroom for the trial and the custody fight over his children. The cameras and media were waiting for O.J. as he arrived this morning. He's trying to regain custody of his 2 young children who have been living with his ex-wife's parents since Simpson was arrested just days after the murders. At Simpson's civil trial, meanwhile, there was more testimony from forensic pathologist Dr. Werner Spitz. He offered testimony on how the killer could have sustained wounds on his hands during the struggle.
Well, Cleveland residents like to boast that their city is the best location in the nation. Well, that was before 3 consecutive days of record lake effect snowfall. Downtown Cleveland is digging out from 2.5 feet of snow since Saturday. It's nearly a complete whiteout, with more snow falling today at the rate of 2 inches an hour in some areas. Parts of northern Ohio are paralyzed with more than 4 feet of the white stuff. 20,000 homes are still without power. Closer to home, we got the first flakes in our area, but it's really nothing compared to Cleveland. Chopper 4 captured these pictures this morning in Sparta, New Jersey. The dusting of snow, just a reminder that winter will soon be here. Right now, Al's here to tell us if we're going to be doing any shoveling soon.
Well, we may actually see a little area-wide dusting like that come Thursday, but nothing quite like Cleveland, thankfully. Let's take a look, show you what's going on outside right now. A beautiful skyline shot, the World Trade Center. World Trade Center there by Chopper 4, thanks to the crew there. As we look at our statistics, show you we've got 38 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, rest of our readings, northwesterly winds at 8, relative humidity 48%, and the barometer is on the rise. High for the day 43, the low a chilly 32, and we've had no precipitation. Temperatures about 13 degrees cooler than they should be for this time of year. Take a look, tri-state temperatures, 37 Dover, Forked River, Spark Hill, 39 Islip, same in Norotan, Connecticut. Astoria checks in with 40, Perth, Amboy at 39. Next Rad 4. You can see, again, trailing snow. This is a lot of lake effect snow. This activity on top of us, most of it not really reaching the ground. A few flakes, though, north and west. Storm track, as we put into motion with the coloration, you can see the areas of white. That's where it is snowing, and quite a bit of snow. Chardon, Ohio, and northeastern Ohio, 32 inches of snow, and as of this morning, they picked up another 10 inches since then. As you can see, tomorrow morning, trough of low pressure trying to drop down, but high pressure will be the dominant factor for our weather tonight. So another chilly one again tonight, 20s and low 30s. Tomorrow morning, the high pressure dominates, and that will give us a nice sunny start to the day, but an awfully cold one with temperatures again in the upper 20s and low 30s. Tomorrow during the day, we'll be struggling to break 40 degrees, but again, a decent amount of sunshine. However, what we are watching, this warm front with a lot of moisture working its way out of the Ohio Valley. That's going to spread clouds in here tomorrow night. And by Thursday, we could be looking at a little light snow. Not any major amounts, but could be a little snow nonetheless. Forecast tonight, low 20s north and west, mid 20s along the coast, upper 20s to low 30s here in town. Tomorrow morning, decent amount of sunshine, westerly winds, but still chilly, upper 20s to the mid-30s, so it will feel like it's in the mid to lower 20s everywhere around the tri-state. Sunshine tomorrow, temperatures upper 30s to the low 40s. Again, another chilly day for us. And your travel weather looks like this. We're expecting 36 degrees up in Boston, partly sunny skies, 52 in Atlanta, 74 Dallas, Los Angeles 76, and Seattle 52 and partly cloudy. It is time now for an artistic tidbit. The great French sculptor Auguste Rodin was born on this date in 1840. His best-known work is probably The Thinker, inspired by the Inferno in Dante's Divine Comedy. For the tidbit, we'd like to know, who is the thinker supposed to be? According to our Encyclopedia of Art, it's a combination of two men, one from the Bible, the other from Greek mythology. The answer in the 5-day forecast later on Live at 5.
Al, we'll think upon it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have, well, wanted to tell Al about this. You mentioned yesterday the coupons?
Yes.
When I heard the story, I thought of you immediately about your coupons.
Yes.
You might want to check some of your old magazines, littering the basement, the garage, and so forth. Fred Simpson of Doctors Inlet, Florida, is thumbing through a 1935 issue of Fortune magazine. He spotted a coupon for a mail-order breakfast of sausage and pancakes for $1, including shipping. There was no expiration date on the coupon, so he mailed it in. Jones Dairy Farm in Wisconsin, the recipient. 4 days later, a delivery truck pulled up carrying a cooler packed with a pound of pork sausage, a box of pancake flour, and a jar of maple syrup. Retail value $29.95.
Now, there you go. You're going to scoff at those coupons.
You know,
Think about that.
We were not scoffing at the coupons. We were scoffing at the man making mega bucks, standing on line, saving money at the grocery.
He's thinking about it.
We'll get back to you. All right, thank you, Al. We have much more news ahead, including found money for insurance customers in New Jersey.
And later we'll meet some patients who have survived medical emergencies ranging from cancer to heart attacks. What message do they have for others?
If you're simply mad about you, you'll enjoy our visit behind the scenes with Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt.
And Barbara Streisand talks about her return to the movies with a picture she directed herself. And now Len has a preview of sports.
Well, Dean, up next, they're about to hand out another award. Will the Yankees make it 3 in a row when it comes to the postseason honors? We're about to find out. And women's tennis hits the streets. Literally. Cabbies must have been thrilled. Coming up next on Live at 5.
And now let's take a look at traffic conditions during the Tuesday evening rush. We head out to our Skycam network and Shadow Traffic's Matt Ward.
Dean, we're going live and direct to Brooklyn for a look at the Gowanus Expressway in the area known as Industry City, and this really doesn't look that bad. A little bit heavier on the traffic coming towards our view. That's on the outbound Gowanus. Let's check on the BQE over by the area of the, oh, you know it, the famous Kosciuszko Bridge. It's there in the distance, and wow, the BQE both ways very, very congested. 11th Avenue is one of the best approaches to the outbound Lincoln Tunnel on most nights, but not tonight. Look at all that traffic coming down 11th Avenue, making the turn onto 41st Street. It's at least a 20-minute wait leaving town on, in fact, both the Holland and Lincoln Tunnel. Dean and Sue, back to you.
All right, Matt, thank you. 250,000 New Jersey drivers are going to be getting an unexpected holiday bonus. New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Company, the state's fourth largest personal auto insurer, says it is company policy to reward customers when business is good. And business was very good in 1995, good enough that the company will pay out more than $37 million in special dividends next month. That works out to an average rebate check of $167 for each of its policyholders.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials moved further into record territory. The Dow closed at 62.66, a 10-point gain, and trading was pretty heavy. 471 million shares traded.
Well, no top prize winner in last night's New Jersey Pick 6 drawing, so Thursday's jackpot will be $5 million. And one winner has stepped forward to claim half of Saturday's $45 million New York Lotto prize. She is Dr. Mary O'Connor, a Buffalo area dentist. Her husband works for UPS. Of course, any night you need to check the lottery numbers. Stay right here on Channel 4 each and every night. We bring you all the winning lottery numbers at 11.
And Len Berman is there with a look at sports.
Well, Dean, at 6 o'clock, they're going to announce the Cy Young Award winner in the American League. It is the third major award, and since the Yankees have won or shared the first two, why not 3 in a row? Andy Pettitte, with his 21 wins, is one of the leading candidates, although a couple of his Yankee teammates, Mariano Rivera and John Wetland, could siphon off a couple of votes, and that could then tilt things in favor of Pat Henkin. He pitched for Toronto, had a terrific year as well. Pettitte lives in Houston, and when he got home last week and had his golf tournament, he looked ahead to possibly winning this award.
To win that, it would be an unbelievable achievement, especially so young. But, you know, if it happens, everybody's kind of getting my hopes up a little bit because everybody's saying I'm going to win it and stuff. But, you know, we'll just wait and see what happens. If it does, it'd be, especially to top it off with the World Series win and then the Cy Young. So it would just be a nice thing.
It could be terrific. They will announce it at 6. We will hear from Pettitte during our 6 o'clock sportscast. Tonight's schedule, the Knicks are hosting Philadelphia. The Devils host Washington. And when you think of street sports in New York, you think of roller hockey or stickball. You definitely don't think of tennis. But today they closed off 31st Street near the Garden to promote next week's Women's Tour Championships. Former tennis great Virginia Wade was on hand, as well as the 94 Wimbledon champion Conchita Martinez. The spectators enjoyed the noontime show. But what about the cab drivers? How did they react to the exhibition?
You tell them which way to go and you say it's closed off here and they won't believe you. Listen, I think the Chase Championships is such a special event. The Garden is so special, and so I think it's fun to have a little promotion and remind people it's going on, and it's that time of year again.
All right, tennis will be played indoors next week at the Garden. Back to you.
Surprised a few cabbies didn't try it anyway.
Well, they made some noise.
Thank you, Len. Up next on Live at 5, spoils from World War II in Swiss bank vaults.
Texaco officials hold a closed-door meeting with Jesse Jackson and others over alleged racism at the company's highest levels.
And ho, ho, ho. No, it's not Santa. It is the Green Giant. But as you can see, there is something of a Christmas connection. When we come back.
No, Chopper 4 has not flown to Cleveland. These are pictures from right over Newark. A little snow in our area. Isn't that nice? Well, civil rights leaders met with the CEO of Texaco in White Plains today. This followed charges that top oil company executives used racial slurs. The Reverend Jesse Jackson traveled to Westchester to meet with CEO Peter Bajur. Jackson charged Texaco with a pattern of racial and sexual discrimination. And after the meeting, the two men commented.
In fact, use our discipline dollars, engage in a combination of picketing and boycotting and withdrawal of stocks until the suit filed by the workers is settled.
Discrimination will be extinguished only if we tackle it together.
Texaco stock has dropped 4.25 points since the allegations against the executives became public.
International pressure is forcing open the doors of secretive Swiss bank vaults. An initial search of Swiss banks has located assets belonging to 5 Jewish depositors who became victims of the Nazi Holocaust. Here in New York, the vice president of the World Jewish Congress described the small number of accounts uncovered as, quote, pathetic.
It's that time of year for some tree glee. Pretty soon, the traditional Christmas tree will grace Rockefeller Center. From cutting it down, wrapping it up, and carting it here, it is a monumental and memorable project. Mike Hegedus reports.
When Guy Torcelleri and his brother Mark go out to cut down their Christmas tree every year, they draw quite a crowd. A couple of hundred people and news media from all over. Does this always happen?
Usually, we only cut one down a year.
Of course, the one they cut down is the one headed for Rockefeller Center. It's been their job for 15 years. The tree, picked out a few months ago and worked on for a week, is in Ann Dilger's Armonk backyard. She and her family got almost as much attention as the 90-foot Norway spruce. In fact, almost anyone and everyone that had a connection to the tree got a little piece of notoriety. Rusty McAllister used to climb it.
It's going to be fun, you know, to see the tree from your own neighborhood right down, almost in your backyard, you know, right down in Rockefeller Center.
And for the Dilger family, there was more than a touch of nostalgia in the air.
If my dad had been alive today, this would have been his birthday, and he would have loved this.
The Torcelleri crew made the whole thing look pretty simple. Suspended from a crane, the trunk was clean cut, and the 9-ton tree lifted and floated over the neighborhood. The man at the controls, Tommy Kaminsky. Suppose dropping it ever crossed his mind?
I guess it would cross my mind, and it would be a bad time to drop a tree in front of all these TV cameras.
He didn't, and it set right down on the special trailer, leaving only one question, a problem we all share. How do they keep the darn thing straight in the Christmas tree stand?
A lot of magazines?
That's what I do. In Armonk, Mike Hegedus, News Channel 4.
The crews worked on the tree for a few more hours before they cut it down. The tree's going to make its journey to Rockefeller Center overnight.
Well, an explosion in Australia and a soccer riot in Rio. We'll have those stories and pictures next on Live at 5.
Fergie has a new book coming out, but we have word of another heavyweight offer that's going to pad her bank account.
And wait till you see what some mechanical mind thought of to help a canine accident victim when we come back. Around the world in video now, Australia shook today. Here's why. The continent's biggest munitions plant was rocked by a massive explosion today. Witnesses said it looked like an atomic bomb had hit it, creating a huge mushroom cloud. The actual cause isn't known. One person was killed. And just north of Mexico City, that Pemex oil refinery is still burning and visible more than 50 miles away. One firefighter was killed in the blast. A second is holding on to dear life. This is the same site where a series of gas explosions killed over 500 people 12 years ago. When Rio's beloved soccer team lost yet another game, fans stormed out of the stands and took matters into their own hands, stomping and beating the opposing team's goalie. Police tried stopping the madness, but they were far outnumbered. The goalie suffered a concussion and eventually left the stadium with a police escort.
Topping our news today in the USA, the Army sex scandal has widened. 3 non-commissioned officers, this time at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, have been charged with sexual misconduct. The Army has already filed charges against 5 Army supervisors at a training base in Aberdeen, Maryland. The charges include rape and involve a dozen young women. 20 soldiers have also been suspended at Aberdeen. In the latest case at Fort Wood, the Army says rape was not involved. However, the misconduct charges are serious enough that a court-martial proceeding is already underway. 5 family members all lost their lives in an early morning fire in Alabama. 2 young children were among the dead. The source of the fire is still unknown, but amazingly, window bars used to keep burglars out may have kept the entire family trapped inside. And another fire, this one on Chicago's north side, shut down the Windy City's elevated transit system for most of the afternoon. The fire broke out in a tenement building near the tracks. 3 firefighters were injured fighting the blaze.
A brain operation tops our news from around the region. Carol Marcella of Schenectady had a brain tumor. Her HMO assigned a doctor with limited experience, so the woman borrowed $38,000 to pay for the doctor of her choice. And now she's asking the state to force her HMO to reimburse her. And in New Jersey, environmental advocates are asking the state to stop using weed-killing chemicals along the Garden State Parkway. They say the chemicals threaten groundwater. They want the state to use weed whackers and lawnmowers instead.
Now, we knew everyone else was watching Sarah Ferguson's weight. We just didn't know she was.
Well, the debt-ridden Duchess of York is about to draw a hefty paycheck. Fergie, who is on book tour in Chicago today, has just signed on to become the spokeswoman for Weight Watchers International. In her autobiography, Fergie blames her weight problems on her troubled marriage to Prince Andrew. She'll be all smiles now, though, with no one to blame when she cashes her annual paycheck from Weight Watchers, a hefty $1 million.
Well, now, here's someone who doesn't complain. Meet our speedy little friend Love, who's a terror on wheels. Love is a mixed-breed German Shepherd who lost his hind legs in a car accident. His owner came up with a specially designed wheelchair that enables Love to leave all the other dogs in the dust. It's a new lease on life for a dog named Love. The blessed little canine is what is it? It's, I guess, the best canine in all of Japan. All right. We just went through that smoothly. We have much more ahead, including people who have survived heart attacks and cancer. What can they teach others about the fighting spirit?
Also in medical news, a vaccine that shows promise for future victims of breast cancer. Testing on humans has begun.
And what kind of a gal would try to help other women by hitting on their boyfriends? We'll have the answer in just a few. Some people are so jealous, they're setting unusual traps to tempt a spouse or lover to cheat. Dateline NBC's Chris Hansen is here with a preview of a report he's preparing for tonight. Chris?
Well, Sue, thank you very much. You know, it's almost impossible to measure how much cheating is going on out there. Various studies show that up to 30% of women and up to 50% of men will stray at some point in their marriages. And uncovering infidelity has become a big business, not just hiring a private investigator. We're talking about actually using a decoy. And Dateline's hidden cameras are rolling as Teresa waits at the bar. Time ticks by slowly. She knows the target comes here every Friday night. After about an hour and a half, he arrives with a male friend. A conversation sparks almost immediately. Teresa tells him she's waiting for a girlfriend.
Do you have any rhythm at all? Can you move on the dance floor?
I love to dance.
About later. Can you move or?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you got the.
I was never.
Take that thing, girl.
Teresa goes right to work.
So why aren't you married?
I've been close, you know, a few times. I've met girls that feel like real close, but always at the last minute, I just can't see it. And then I don't fertilize all these days. The girl's got to be a solid girl. I'm going to get out and sound loyal. If I'm going to be loyal to her, she'll be there.
Absolutely.
In reality, this man is a father of three who's been married for 8 years. After 20 minutes of chatting, he asks for Teresa's phone number. And when she's apprehensive, he enthusiastically encourages her.
Hey, get out, girl. Freak out. It's out.
Finally, she gives him a fake number.
What's the schedule? I mean, weekend's good. I'll give you a shout. You can tell me some rhythm.
The man makes it very clear he'd like to see Teresa again. And it's all captured on audio tape for his wife to hear. It's the kind of thing that gives men a bad name. Gotcha. Teresa works for a private detective here in New York City. At least a couple times a month, she's hired to test somebody's husband or boyfriend. It's the ultimate in detecting a cheating heart, or could it be entrapment? You decide. That's Dateline NBC right here at 10 o'clock tonight on NBC4.
Oh, I can hear the howls of entrapment coming from.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially if you're on the other end of Teresa's gaze. I think at least that would be your defense. But it's interesting. More times than not, 9.5 times out of 10, she catches them.
Chris, how much does it cost to hire a decoy?
The average job, the job that you saw right there, will be about $750, they tell you.
$750. And how does Teresa get into this business?
Teresa got into this business because she was victimized, she says, by a cheating boyfriend. She caught him, and she decided she was going to do her best not to let this happen to any other woman. And so she got hooked up with this private investigator, and she was off to the races.
A woman scorned.
That's right.
Look at me, huh? I don't know that I would go through the expense. I just say, hey.
You're out of here.
All right, we'll see you. Thank you, Chris.
Well, where did you pack those long johns? Al's 5-day forecast is coming up.
We're going to jump the gun on tonight's weekly visit with Paul and Jamie Buckman. Jane Wells takes us onto the set of Mad About You, where a new arrival is on the way.
And mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most talented singer, actress, movie director of them all? Barbara Streisand tells us about her new Hollywood project. A milestone tonight for Must-See TV. Mad About You is celebrating its 100th episode. Although the show looks like it's happening here in New York, it's actually shot at a studio in Culver City, California. So that's where we sent Jane Wells.
They've entertained us for better and for worse.
So entertain them. Why didn't you tell me I had stupid things in my head?
I thought it was on purpose.
But as Mad About You's Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt head into their 100th episode,
And that's a cat.
they move from mad to deranged with impending parenthood.
Which is what's fun about this year, is that there is something new that's very true and organic and brings an entire new set of problems.
Although 1 hour ago I saw my parents naked in this bed, still, my sexual appetite has not diminished.
Reiser and Hunt play parents-to-be Paul and Jamie Buckman. And while Reiser knows from personal experience what to expect when you're expecting, Hunt has to fake it.
A big group of my friends last year all got pregnant at the same time, and as their friends, I sort of collected their stories and their, what they went through.
But Reiser has been in the delivery room before for the birth of his son. So how will Paul Buckman be different witnessing childbirth than Paul Reiser was?
Paul Buckman will have writers and punch-ups, so it'll be probably more humorous. And again, bigger ratings. In my actual son's birth, we did a 12-3, which was okay. But we're hoping for a little bit better.
So how long does a show like this keep going? I mean, what do the Buckmans do after they have a baby?
Shower up, I imagine.
As long as it's fun and as long as we, feel like we are doing good work. So I think when we both look at each other and feel like it's time, we'll bail out.
In other words, Mad About You will be around as long as they are mad about the show. And one last thing, any names for baby Buckman?
Ezekiel in the Nebuchadnezzar was Helen's pitch.
If it's a girl.
If it's a girl, Edwin.
Well, whatever they call the baby, millions will tune in for the birth. In Culver City, Jane Wells, News Channel 4.
Tonight's episode also showcases TV legends Carol Burnett and Carol O'Connor, and you can see the 100th episode of Mad About You tonight at 8, right here on Channel 4.
It's her first film in years. Barbara Streisand is back in the limelight with The Mirror Has Two Faces.
I thought you were going to wear makeup today.
I am wearing makeup.
Well?
Oh, my God.
Streisand directs and co-stars as Rose in the film about two people and how they react to physical attraction.
Hi, Alex.
I can't believe it's you.
When Rose becomes glamorous, you notice what happens to the relationships. All of a sudden, the sister is, made to feel unnerved. Her best friend becomes cold and feels left out. You see what happens with the effects of beauty.
Well, tonight at 11, Jeffrey Lyons gives us one of the first reviews of The Mirror Has Two Faces. Don't miss it tonight at 11 on News Channel 4. Now, Al's back with a return visit, tidbit and a bit of weather.
Yes, in reverse order.
All right.
We'll start with the weather. As we, first of all, take a look at NextRad 4 with through Doppler 4000's odds. You can see scattered showers around, although a lot of this is not reaching the ground, some of it falling in the form of snow, as you saw earlier, through the eyes of Chopper 4. Now, as we take a look at our forecast for you for tonight, fair skies, low 20s north and west, mid-20s here in town, upper 20s along the coast. And then for tomorrow morning, kids heading out to school, upper 20s, low 30s with a decent amount of sunshine. As the day progresses, though, look for thickening clouds and a high of 41. Light snow on Thursday, a high of 36. Friday, a temperature of 39 with sunshine. Saturday, sunny, 46. Sunday, sunshine warming up to 51. All right, let's answer the tidbit. We want to know, who is Rodin's The Thinker supposed to represent? According to our Encyclopedia of Art, it's a combination of one character from the Bible and another from Greek mythology.
I have no idea.
I'll pass.
I get this all by myself?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go with Samson from the Bible and Zeus from mythology.
Okie dokie. Well, a good shot. It was Adam from the book of Genesis and Prometheus, the Titan who got in trouble for giving fire to human beings. Of course, Prometheus right there at the ice skating rink at 30 Rockefeller Plaza, but nobody gets it today.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Al. I feel crushed. News for Your Health is next. We have word of an experimental vaccine for breast cancer.
Plus, ordinary people who beat extraordinary odds. How they survived medical emergencies from heart attacks to cancer.
News for Your Health now, an exciting breakthrough in breast cancer research as scientists begin experimenting with a new vaccine. Breast cancer patient Mary Harnsberger has become the first person to be injected with a new vaccine. The injection is designed to replace chemotherapy and radiation by strengthening the body's immune system.
Working on a system that will hopefully not only allow us to kill tumor cells, but provide an enhanced level of immunity so that the patient, if they ever were to have a recurrence, would have an immune response against the recurrence.
Harnsberger took the first of 6 injections yesterday and is hoping for success. Doctors at the Child's Research Center hope to add at least 30 more women to the clinical study.
And a new study on breast cancer just released this afternoon finds heavy smokers who reach menopause are 4 times as likely to get breast cancer as non-smokers. The study says a flawed enzyme present in millions of Americans may be to blame for the increased risk. The study in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that women who start smoking in their teen years are especially at risk for breast cancer later in life.
Good news for shrimp lovers who worry about their cholesterol. Go ahead and eat. Scientists at Rockefeller University tested shrimp for all kinds of cholesterol and found they're high in good cholesterol and low in the dangerous ones. The findings are reported in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition.
And increasingly, people who face life-threatening diseases are battling back and winning. Dr. Jocelyn Apollon is here with more on beating the odds.
Yes, do you believe in miracles?
Of course.
Well, some people are saying that's exactly what's happening. We're hearing more and more about people who are beating the odds, surviving cancer, fighting heart disease, and surviving even when they're told medically there's nothing else that can be done.
12 years ago, Mae Mickley was told she had advanced ovarian cancer, which causes one of the highest death rates in women. In fact, it's estimated that 1 in every 70 American women is destined to die from this disease. Mae Mickley didn't.
I had a very good doctor who explained that it wasn't a death sentence.
Mae underwent chemotherapy treatments and surgery, and she beat the odds.
In my 20 years of practice, I've seen so often patients survive and return. Not only do they survive, their quality of life is normal.
But Mae's battle had just begun. With ovarian cancer in remission, she then developed breast cancer. And while being treated for breast cancer, she was found to have leukemia, cancer of the blood.
It's not uncommon for a person to have more than one type of cancer and beat all of them. In fact, a patient who is a cancer survivor has a slightly higher risk of developing a different type of cancer because of their genetic predisposition.
Advanced medical treatment not only allows people to survive cancer, a number of them are even cured. But we doctors don't dismiss the power of the will to live.
I'm a survivor, and I wasn't tossing in the sponge.
Mae was aware and able to make decisions about her cancer treatment. But what happens if a patient is in a coma and doctors don't expect them to survive through the night? In February 1994, Robert Scholar had a massive heart attack, in a coma for 4 months, and placed in a hospice program to die.
They had every reason, I suppose, to believe that I was on my way out. The only thing was I wasn't, and I didn't.
Robert not only survived a heart attack and coma, he also survived the funeral that his family planned for him.
It must be maybe that I had a very strong will to survive.
Now, Mae and Robert survived when all the odds seemed to be against them, and this is not uncommon. We're finding that many people with devastating terminal illnesses are surviving longer, and in some cases even cured. But even when the best doctors and advanced medical treatments, their best medicine is their will to survive. They're wonderful people, and they're doing very well at this point.
Very happy. Thank you, Dr. Apollon. That is Live at 5 for this evening, and we thank you for watching.
Tune in tomorrow after Sally to find out what your doctor needs to know when you enter the emergency room. Now here are Chuck and Michelle with News Channel 4 at 6.
Thanks, Dean and Sue. And straight ahead, a hidden arsenal, secret tunnels, and more than 30 arrests. Who are the suspects and what do they want?
Also dangerous railroad crossings and what's being done about them.
Plus, a high school class asked ASA to ask you for help.
You're watching NBC4, the Tri-State News Channel. And now, Chuck Scarborough, Michelle Marsh, Janice Huff, and Len Berman. This is News Channel 4 at 6.
Good evening. A child abuse complaint leads police to a secret stash of incredible firepower.
The police are questioning some 30 people tonight after seizing an arsenal of handguns and rifles from their home. It began with a complaint about child abuse. Police went to a Crown Heights brownstone and charged a mother with endangering the welfare of a minor, although they do say the children are okay. What is not okay is the hidden arsenal of weapons they discovered, and black powder they say could be used for explosives.
12 years ago, federal agents stormed the very same building and seized a small arsenal. Coincidence? John Miller is here right now with more on that. John?
Well, Michelle, for some of the more experienced cops and agents on the Joint Terrorist Task Force, searching through the Brooklyn townhouse was what, like Yogi Berra used to call deja vu all over again. 12 years ago, I was there when the FBI first moved in on this cultish group. The Provisional Party of Communists is an obscure group that has operated out of this Brooklyn area for 2 decades. They are focused on the plight of migrant workers in eastern Long Island and organizing tenants here in Brooklyn. But in the early 80s, this left-wing group came to the FBI's attention as a potential terrorist organization. In the context of the times, the FBI took the information very seriously. It was a decade after the Weather Underground bomb factory blew up the Greenwich Village townhouse. Radical fugitive Kathy Boudin, who fled the bomb factory, was captured later in an armored car robbery in Nyack, New York, where 2 guards and a cop were killed. Joanne Chesimard of the Black Liberation Army was being hunted as an alleged cop killer. And that's when the FBI began to focus on the information they were hearing about the Provisional Party of Communists in Brooklyn. One of the things that's most interesting about what unfolded today is the history of this location. More than a decade ago, I recall being here for a similar raid. FBI agents, acting on information from an informant, filed a sealed, secret affidavit in Brooklyn Federal Court. The informant said there was a group operating in this building, a terrorist group, with plans to overthrow the government of the United States. The informant detailed caches of automatic weapons and explosives and a bomb factory inside, along with a maze of tunnels and connecting passageways. And the FBI was going to use caution, they said, because of the presence of children here. But when they ultimately executed that warrant in the early morning hours, what we found here was different from what the FBI agents expected, and the explosive terrorist case kind of fizzled. At the time, their lawyer was Harvey Lewin.
They're now gone into the law firm's files, as well as the files of about 3 buildings here, purportedly looking for weapons or information about weapons, but it seems to be not terribly discriminating by nature of the search.
Ironically, the guns the NYPD found today may be the guns the FBI didn't find in 1984. When they searched the house using a diagram supplied by an informant, they apparently didn't find the hidden room. Police are now waiting for another search warrant, which will allow them to look even further.
One thing I remember from that raid in '84 was the group's leader, Gino Parenti, jumped out the back window as the FBI moved in. He broke both legs, landing in front of 2 agents covering the back door. He has since died, but his group remains controversial. We also just got word of what exactly was recovered there today: 16 pistols, 26 rifles, 5 shotguns, 8 pairs of handcuffs, brass knuckles, and smokeless black powder that can be used to make explosives or ammunition. Chuck?
John, thank you.
A 6-year investigation of the karting industry in New York City. The investigation was conducted jointly by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and the police. And we have this story to tell you about now. More indictments in a 6-year investigation of the karting industry in New York City. But the big surprise came when investigators revealed who some of the victims were. News Channel 4's Gabe Pressman reports.
With today's indictments, we take another significant step forward in eliminating the corruption which has existed in the karting industry for so long.
It's the latest step in Manhattan DA Robert Morgenthau's war against corruption in the karting or private waste hauling industry. He indicted 13 firms today, bringing to 34 companies charged with a scam to defraud the government and taxpayers at federal courthouses in New Jersey, Manhattan, and Brooklyn, and other facilities. These companies hauled away garbage and trash, and the indictment charges they organized bidding clubs, each firm taking its turn and winning a contract for a specific building, the other firms agreeing to bid higher. Kickbacks, it's charged, went to building managers.
We brought a civil forfeiture action, and we're trying to seize the property, which totaled some $250 million.
Among the buildings involved, 26 Federal Plaza, home of the FBI. the old federal courthouse where many historic trials have been held, the U.S. Attorney's Office on St. Andrew's Place, the new federal courthouse. Morgenthau said he'd called the U.S. attorneys in Brooklyn and Manhattan to tell them about the alleged crime in their own buildings.
Are they embarrassed that this kind of a scam went on right under their noses?
I don't think so.
But how do you get the feds to clean up their act?
I got enough problems of my own.
Morgenthau estimates the bid rigging cost the taxpayers more than $1 million a year for several years. Gabe Pressman, News Channel 4.
More than 350 people are feared dead tonight after two airliners collided in the skies over India. It happened about 60 miles north of New Delhi. A Saudi jumbo jet and a Kazakh airliner slammed into each other as one was climbing out, the other was coming in for a landing. 2 Americans were among the passengers. Members of the Indian and Arab communities are stunned.
Well, it is shocking because naturally I come from that country, and I like to see India for happening something good, you know. And this is something shocking for us.
Two airplanes, they crashed each other. That's not easy. It's a big feeling, bad feeling for everybody.
So far, the police have found 200 bodies of those on board the 2 planes.
The rape trial of a former high school wrestling star has ended. A mistrial declared in the Alex Kelly case. Kelly left the courthouse in Stamford, Connecticut, a free man after jurors said they were hopelessly deadlocked. They were split 4-2 in favor of conviction. Kelly was accused of raping a former high school classmate 8 years ago. Rather than face trial, he fled to Europe, where his parents supported him until he surrendered last year. Prosecutors say they will try for a retrial. And John Royster will not face the death penalty. He's accused of murdering 65-year-old Evelyn Alvarez in front of her Park Avenue dry cleaning store. The DA's office told the judge it will ask for life without parole at trial. Royster is also accused of the attempted murder and assault of a woman in Central Park and of a woman walking near the FDR heliport.
Tonight, the police are looking for a man who shot a young father to death on his doorstep. Now, this is a picture of 26-year-old Edwin Sanchez Jr. The father of 2 was shot on his Woodhaven doorstep by a man who was dressed in a postal uniform. Police say the suspect wanted Sanchez to sign for a package, and at that point, Sanchez became suspicious, threatened to call the police, and was shot dead.
He was dressed as a postal worker, and that's about all we do know at this point.
We were told he drove away in a red, white, and blue truck.
We've heard that as well, but that too is under investigation as to whether that truck was a postal truck.
Police say at the time of the shooting, Sanchez's 2 children were in the house, along with their mother, who may have been a witness. Governor Pataki is going to take the wraps off his plans for welfare reform tomorrow. But already, as Brian Thompson reports, there are details about drug testing, work requirements, and reduced benefits.
At least some of those who run these programs say there is no more room at the inn. And welfare reform threatens to swamp offices like this one with more people who will no longer qualify for benefits. But new federal law requires change. And Governor Pataki says if he has his way, it will include mandatory drug testing.
We should not be providing for people who don't have enough acknowledgement of what society is to them, that they simply go out there and abuse drugs and expect us to take care of them.
Outside one city welfare office, drug testing is not a popular idea.
Because we all have our ups and downs. We have faults.
The people using drugs, what are they going to have to live on? You know, then that's going to make them go out and rob and steal.
The governor's plan goes beyond drug testing. For example, a family of 3 would see its cash benefits drop from $577 a month now to $317 a month after 4 years, then disappear after 5 years as required by federal law. Those who are able-bodied would have to work. Those who are disabled would get vouchers instead of cash. And new immigrants would qualify only for vouchers, no cash. But critics warn,
we need to get serious about creating jobs and moving people into those jobs. And that's not what this Pataki proposal is about. What Pataki is about is simply slashing the welfare, the safety net.
More details of the governor's plan will come out on Wednesday. Then his big challenge will be getting it through the state legislature next year. In downtown Manhattan, Brian Thompson, News Channel 4.
The governor says his plan would continue cash payments for the disabled, including those suffering from physical or mental illnesses that prevent them from working.
A child welfare supervisor who handled the botched case of 6-year-old Elisa Izquierdo has been allowed to retire with his pension. Thomas Gorse, a 31-year civil servant, filed his retirement papers last week after city officials determined the case against him was not sufficient to clear civil service hurdles. Little Elisa was found dead in November of 1995, a victim of child abuse. Her mother, Awilda Lopez, was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 15 years in prison. A caseworker, Adriana Navallo, who handled Elisa's case, has been fired.
Well, you probably pass them every day, but should you be worried about your safety at railroad crossings? An inspection out today says maybe you should.
And also ahead on News Channel 4, Asa sings the blues for a high school music class.
Imagine a classroom filled with kids who have lyrics, a world-class performer willing to perform them, but no piano. Maybe you can help.
You may use them every day, but are you at risk? There are hundreds of railroad crossings on Long Island, and a new safety report out tonight raises some serious questions after a series of mishaps last year. More now from Long Island reporter M.G. Perez.
Last November, this crossing arm on School Street in Westbury missed its cue to come down as a train rushed by. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it hasn't helped the Long Island Railroad's image with drivers. Do you trust the system?
I only trust me. I don't trust the system. I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah, I just look left, right, make sure nothing is coming, and then I continue.
4 grade crossings malfunctioned in separate incidents late last year, prompting the railroad to investigate and correct several problems. And the LIRR president ordered an independent study by an outside firm which concentrated on signal conditions. The independent investigation took almost a year to complete, and although officials with the Long Island Railroad say there are no unsafe conditions in terms of equipment and procedure, the railroad is changing the way it does some things. Those changes include revising signal testing procedures and putting more supervisors in the field by reducing their office paperwork. Also, there will be improved training for some signal workers who were criticized in the report for not being safety conscious enough.
Clearly, this report reinforces that. The railroad is safe, the grade crossings are safe. But you need to focus on these types of maintenance systems and the people involved with them to make sure you can improve them and get to the highest level of safety you can find.
38 new signal workers have also been hired. Along with safety, administrators hope they will improve morale and public perception. M.G. Perez, News Channel 4.
Now, late this afternoon, News Channel 4 was finally able to reach a representative of the Railroad Signalmen's Union. Chairman Bill Saar told us criticism of his members is ridiculous. Saar claims the union had already warned the railroad about many of the problems mentioned in the independent report.
Well, traffic patterns are back to normal at the Queensboro Bridge, but is the traffic back to normal? Let's go up to Chopper 4 and Tom Frick with a look at tonight's commute. Tom?
Chuck, you're taking a look at the 59th Street Bridge, cutting right down the center of your screen. You can see the long line of lights. Those are inbound vehicles, inbound commuters. Take a look at the right-hand side of your screen, however. That is the outbound 59th Street Bridge. Absolutely free and clear. Live in Chopper 4 in Manhattan, I'm Tom Frick. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Tom, thank you.
And we're going to ask Janice about our chilly forecast.
Chilly is an understatement, I think. Cold tonight with temperatures in the 20s. And a few snowflakes to go along with that, too. I'll show you coming up next on News Channel 4 at 6.
The 20s?
The 20s. It was almost in the teens last night in some spots. Some people are going, what do you mean? We had that already last night. Cold air is over us for a while. Will it warm up at all this week? Well, I think I got some good news for you. I'll show you that in a moment in the 5-day forecast. In the meantime, we had reports of some light snow flurries over Newark. And even earlier, Chopper 4 was showing us a few snowflakes. Mostly clear over the city right now as we look live through our sky cam. Our temperature in the city is 38 degrees. Winds right now are light and variable. The relative humidity at 50%. And the pressure is rising right now, and the reading is at 30.48. The high temperature today was up to 43 degrees after a low of 32. We haven't had any precipitation officially recorded at Central Park today, but we anticipate that there might be a few snowflakes flying here and there, but you certainly aren't going to see any accumulation with that snowfall. Speaking of cold temperatures, we saw lows, as I mentioned, close to the teens. Haynesville, one of the coldest spots in our area, was down to 20 degrees this morning. You might even see teams tonight. And look at all the 20s from Chatham to Island. Red Bank was down to 30 and Rocky Point at 36 degrees. Right now, our temperatures are in the 30s, a little chilly, a little warmer in the city, but we expect the readings to go down into the 30s here tonight. The lake effect snows continue to flow heavily tonight. Upstate New York back through Erie and the Cleveland area getting pummeled again. And some of those flakes have made their presence felt down here in our area, but we certainly don't expect any accumulation whatsoever here. But another cold one expected tomorrow. And the little storm system coming out of the Midwest this week probably will bring us a chance for snow showers on Thursday. So it stays chilly and winter-like. In the meantime, tonight's lows, that's right, 20s, even in Staten Island, down to 28 tonight, winds out of the west, mostly clear skies, a few snow flurries here and there. Temperatures tomorrow, mid to upper 30s to around 40 with partly cloudy skies. I have some good warm news for you. By Sunday, it'll be back up to 50. So if you can just stand it for a couple more days, a little chilly on Thursday with snow showers, highs in the 30s Thursday, Friday, back up into the 40s on Saturday, and then 50 on Sunday. Have something to look for.
Yeah, put my muffler away on Sunday. Thanks. Well, how can you make music without any instruments? You can't, and that's why a whole classroom is asking Asa for help.
That's ahead, along with Len Sports. Len. Well, check up next. Andy Pettitte does not win the Cy Young Award, but the Yankee pitcher will join me live from Houston in just a minute. Elsewhere in sports today, the Knicks getting set to play the 76ers tonight. That's Derek Coleman. And out wild play last night in San Diego. All next in sports on News Channel 4 at 6.
So he can lead.
So Andy just missed.
Just very close. The Yankees suffering their first loss of the postseason. Andy Pettitte did not win the Cy Young Award. Toronto's Pat Henkin did. Henkin won a very close ballot. He got 16 of the 28 first-place votes. Pettitte got 11. Mariano Rivera got 1 and finished third. That's maybe what cost Pettitte when all the points were totaled. Henkin won by only 6 points. He did have 20 wins, 1 less than Pettitte, but he led the majors in innings pitched, complete games. His earned run average was second in the league. Henkin had some very good stats. And joining me now from his hometown of Houston, Andy Pettitte. Andy, thank you. Are you crushed by this?
Oh, I'm definitely not crushed. You know, obviously I'm a little disappointed. I would like to have won it, but Pat did a great job. He had a great season. He dominated for pretty much all season, and he's definitely worthy of the honor.
I guess your hopes were up there pretty good because most people like myself kept saying, well, Andy, you're likely the Cy Young winner.
That was, you know, that's the big downfall. The last month, Pat hadn't been playing I have, and everybody's been saying that I was going to win it. So, you know, obviously I was getting my hopes up a little bit, but like I said, he deserves it.
All right, you still have, obviously, the World Series championship ring to show for it. We'll show another exciting clip here in New York while you talk, but I'm sure that's exactly how you feel. You've got the ring, and, of course, the balloting is done before the postseason.
That's right, and, you know, that's all that matters. I was just hoping I could help us to win a World Series, and I feel like I did a pretty good job of doing that, and, you know, what more can you ask for in the World Series ring?
Hey, Andy, there's a rule change that may be coming down. I just saw where the general managers want to raise the mound from 10 to 13 inches to help out the pitchers. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't. You know, that'd be nice. These guys are crushing the ball out there. We need to get a little bit of advantage.
All right, Andy, how are you going to spend all winter now?
I'm going to relax, do a little bit of hunting, play some golf, and, you know, just spend a lot of time with the family.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Sorry you didn't win it, but thank you for the thrills this year with the Yankees.
All right. Thank you.
Andy Pettitte live from Houston. Other sports news of the day. NBA tonight, the Knicks coming off their 3-0 road trip hosting Philadelphia. The 76ers practicing this morning at the Garden. They're an interesting group this year, featuring Georgetown rookie Allen Iverson and former Net Derek Coleman, who was healthy once again.
I think New York will really present a test for us because, you know, they're up in the upper echelon of the conference. And so that's really going to show us, you know, where we need to be.
All right, we'll have some highlights at 11. Hockey tonight, the Devils hosting Washington. Last night, this was the goal of the evening at the Garden. Marcus Naslund for Vancouver. Score was tied at 2. What a move. That was the winning goal against Mike Richter. Another look as he moves in, breezes past Alexander Karpovtsev, and while going down, the backhand winner past Richter. Just a tremendous goal. The slumping Rangers now have a losing record at home. And last night in San Diego, final seconds of the first half, Chargers ball. Stan Humphries rolls out and just heaves it. Your typical Hail Mary pass. It comes down in the end zone, right to the smallest guy on the field. Andre Coleman, touchdown. San Diego went on to beat Detroit, and what was worse for the Lions, they had an illegal extra man. They had 12 on defense, and they still couldn't stop the Hail Mary pass. That's sports.
Thanks, Larry. Well, as they heard, if you ask Asa, you get results.
So a classroom full of students has sent out an appeal. Stay with us. What's a song without music? Tonight, we have a story about a Manhattan high school class that has a song to sing, but one thing's missing.
So they decided to ask Asa for help. Asa?
And imagine you're a young person off to a rough start, turning things around, going back to school. You have a great opportunity with a world-class composer. The focus of this story is about something you won't see or hear in it. It's a musical instrument. So let me show you what you do see at the Manhattan Outreach High School. Many of the students are former dropouts who've dropped back in to finish school while juggling jobs, even small families. Teachers like Leslie Garassi help them not only open the books, but also open something else, the world of ideas. Working on themes from Les Miserables, the students have written original lyrics about discipline.
Kids should listen to what their parents have to say because they're not just saying it for their health.
Prejudice.
It didn't feel good to hate anybody.
And of course, passion.
So she's running to one, saying that she loves him and she's cared for him and she's dedicated only to him, and he believes her.
Through theater contacts, Leslie convinced world-class composer Henry Krieger to take a day away from composing Broadway musicals like Dreamgirls and spend a day fulfilling dreams here, writing music and interpreting her students' words. A true introduction to the world of ideas, a door that may not swing open because of what you won't see, or for that matter, hear in this story. A real piano. Leslie was crushed to learn the school did not have one.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. I mean, as a matter of fact, that day I found out, I was on the phone with a friend and she said, oh yes, well my daughter has 7 pianos at her school.
The reason is simple, and there's no bad guy here. It's a question of budget.
Books and other materials take precedent over some of the art materials and things like pianos.
Krieger's special appearance is a few days away. The students' stories, lyrics, and hearts are ready and willing. But the piano wall remains empty.
And hopefully if we get this piano, we can make some tunes out of this thing.
This is not some stupid student expression, boom paddle. I was there. They really do deserve and need that piano. And if you know anybody, a mover, a dealer, somebody with a piano, have them call me. 212-765-4800. For ASA, and we'll make some arrangements. Please call right away. I'm going to look awful stupid schlepping a piano in there on my own because they do have to have it.
Okay, so let's very quickly check in with Sue to see what's ahead at 11 o'clock.
All right, Chuck, thank you. Racism at Texaco. Jesse Jackson threatens to fuel a boycott while other black leaders go along. Murder in Bushwick. A grandmother is slashed to death. Her little grandson clings to life. What was the motive? And frozen in time, a special report on cryonics and the people betting megabucks they will live again. Plus, Jeffrey Lyons looking at Barbra Streisand's new film, The Mirror, has 2 faces. All this and more at 11. We're out of time. Okay, Chuck and Michelle.
And that's it for us.
Tom Brokaw straight ahead. Good night.